is it possible to switch? Is it possible to switch between the breakout rooms, or is it now the room I'm assigned to, or?
No, that's a very fair question. We decided to do to randomly assign the rooms just to make sure that we were quite balanced in the number of people who would join each room. So at this point, it is not possible to change a room. However, I will also confront with the other note taker, because if we have time throughout the conversation and maybe we have finished the topics and the conversation has come to an end and we found the points that we want to present to the plenary, we can definitely see if you can maybe explore the other rooms as well, but we will see in the throughout the session.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Leonardo, I don't know if you were raising your hand or you're muted.
Hello. Sorry, a couple of technical issue. I suggest we can start the debate on these three breakout room. For the number one, Talisa will be the moderator. For number two, the facilitator will be Elisa, and I think they are okay. For number three, I'm asking now Anna that probably will need to find a separate space because we're in the same room, otherwise it could be noisy. To moderate it. I'm sorry, Anna. We're really into improvisation, and I think we can start. I'm sorry, we're having this technical issue. So I think we can start in this group at least. I will not be there because I'm trying to solve all the technical issue, but I can leave the floor to Talisa so we can start this part of the breakout room. I'll be there in a moment.
Yes. Hi, I already introduced the logistical side. I think I'm specifically talking to Tilly Metz at this point, but I think you're already familiar with the logistical side of it. I just briefly expose what it's going to happen and the topic of this breakout room, which is obviously CAP 2027 and what reforms are possible for a fairer, more sustainable common agricultural policy without subside for intense farming. And I was just now opening the floor to people to brainstorm. Obviously, talking to the experts, feel free to jump in because I understand that at the beginning it could be useful to have a first push from the experts. So, but I don't know if someone already wants to take the floor and start brainstorming. Again, even just a word, even just a bullet point, there's no knowledge from your side requested on the topic. Please.
Yeah, thank you. I was wondering when I was getting used to or like acquainted with like what you had been doing with the petition and with the documentary. With the petition, you asked for a definition on intensive farming in the EU. And I think that's a very good idea because we do not have that right now. But I was wondering for you, is there, in your perception, a difference between intensive farming and factory farming? We make the difference as in factory farming is farming animals in a very intensive way, whilst intensive farming of tomatoes might also be problematic, but for other reasons, I guess. And I was wondering, like, is that the distinction that we should make? Or should we just have a definition of intensive farming in general? And would that then be, for example, intensive farming is all farming that's non-organic or something? So I was wondering, like, how do you see this definition of intensive farming? Or how should we as a group see, what do we think is important? Maybe also a question to everybody else in the room.
Yeah, I see that Tilly has unmuted herself. I don't know if there's any reason or okay. And I will specify this again, as a facilitator, I'm not particularly entitled to share my opinion or my point on this topic. Also, I'm an external figure in this. But I don't know if someone else in the group maybe has been more involved in the process and wants to share. Leonardo.
Okay. But from what I understood, I think that the question is really appropriate because since it's farming, like, and involves to, I mean, dominate or exploiting animals is something terrifying from my point. But at the same time, like, I think that what is the proposal to recognize what is an intensive farming is also recognizing like a very big industry, which is the majority of the farming that involves that involves the biggest amount of animals, and can help to visualize and to make people more conscious about what we are doing with farming in general. So I think that like I don't know, like, for sure I cannot say, but I think that other forms of farming that are not intensive in a way, and in the numbers of animals that are involved and in the practice that are used, are a very small percentage, like in relation with what is the industry of farming. I don't know if I'm speaking right, but if I now that I'm speaking, I would like also to put my point of view on like of possible action or like and I'm hearing I'm involved like in this let's say philosophy which try to that relate the problem of our problem, like as a, sorry, I'm being a bit confusing. What I wanted to say is that, like, I'm realizing with time, like maybe after 10 years, I'm into those kind of problem, but not in a very direct way, just because of my conscience of what I was able to understand, is that it's really a social problem and a political problem. And maybe the communication, like, for those kind of action had some kind of lack, because I think that this content, these arguments put a lot of put in doubt a lot of our form of the form of our society. And when we only bring the problem, it's very difficult to have participation and empathy with people. And I think that one other important side of all of this process that has to happen, that has to start as a change that is already starting. That's why, for example, I'm here, and the first time I'm speaking with in a common group about this problem, and I'm very happy about it. Is that we should also propose our picture, or propose our picture that is in constant change of a society that is different, that doesn't include like the domination on the other, and the other is I know that maybe I'm a bit ideological, but like the other is the other minority, the other insect, the other animal, the other also materia, like and so like maybe also I'm not being very practical, I'm realizing, but I feel that a problem in the communication is that we are only sometimes putting a lot of evidences that is very important to do to the problem, but not like picturing like and imagining a different future enough.
So what I'm also getting, and thank you for your contribution, but what I'm getting also from the first part of your contribution is that there's maybe also a problem in the way that the reforms are communicated, and also in terms of transparency, but also in the way that people holds power in discussing these
Yes.
policies. So switching the power a little bit and making it also for the people, but also making it more transparent and easier to be understood, because the communication may be not efficient for citizens to understand, and also to take positive actions themselves against, for instance, intensive farming. Tommy,
Thank you, Teresa. No, thank you.
And Lorenzo, I see that you're back. Maybe Matthijs, your question can be maybe addressed to Lorenzo, and he can help you in the discussion.
Yes, and thank you, Leonardo, for your contribution. I think that also not practical, strictly practical comments are very useful to help us have an overall picture of the view and the proposal we want to build. I would like to take advantage of this breakout room also to ask some questions to Tilly and take some inspiration from her intervention.
Lorenzo, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. Sorry, it's just that Matthijs had just a small question that he addressed it to you when you were away. So
okay.
if we can just solve it quickly, so that Tilly can have her time to share, because I won't give the right time to Tilly to participate. So Matthijs, please, if you want to.
Yeah. No, sure. Sorry, I had a quick question. When we talked yesterday, you said that you wanted a definition from the European Commission on intensive farming. And there I was wondering if you see a difference between what we call factory and intensive farming, and factory farming is animal farming very intensively. And then you also, of course, have crop farming that can be intensive. And if you would want to make a separation there, or if you want a definition that covers both.
Okay, this is really also up to us, I think, and so it's also up to the expertise and the knowledge of your suggestions, in the sense that the way we framed it in a petition, also for the way a petition is conceived as an instrument to give an input to the Petty Commission, was really to find this legal definition. Then we didn't went into the technical details of what this legal definition should be, also because we thought, okay, this is really the part in which the institution should have their said. And so the differentiation you were pointing out is very relevant. I know that many people also are criticizing the fact that even though we talk about extensive farming, according to some people, the environmental problem of emission it's still there, but we all know that the damage, environmental damage that is done by intensive farming, I think is not comparable. So I think this is the starting point. And actually, if you have someone also in this room have more knowledge about what should be technically a potential solution for a definition of intensive farming, I'm happy also to take note about it. And we are quite open in the way we put it in our petition. And now that maybe we can come out with a new petition, we can be more specific on that.
Thank you, Lorenzo. Sorry, I just wanted this to be addressed because maybe Matthijs wanted it for the continue of the conversation. But now, please take the floor.
Oh yeah, actually the floor is for everyone who has a clue regarding this point of the definition of intensive farming. Even what Matthijs just said could be interesting to be in depth a little bit in this framework. But I also would like to know, since Really, you were talking about the overall reform of the common agricultural policy. If there is room to include intensive farming in the emission trading system, I know that it's one of the big issues that it's always under discussion, but with this number in the parliament, I know it's tough.
Yeah, I think right now, as it is seen right now, and with the parliament that we have right now, and you must know it's since the last election, quite a clear push to the conservative and to the far right. If we speak now about ETS regarding the emission trade system, also for agriculture, not only because now we are also speaking about ETS regarding mobility, regarding housing, building, etc. And if we now continue also, or would extend it even to agriculture, I think there would be massive blockade, knowing, and it was presented today, that the CO2 emissions of the livestock sector, and not only CO2, methane, except methane also, are huge, and even methane is more damageable as even CO2. So I think right now, that is really, I would wish, of course, but it's difficult to address right now. And regarding the intensive farming and pushing on one side, when he speaks about environmental and animal welfare and more organic farming, or the transition also, what is foreseen and what should be even mandatory for the member states to have organic and extensively more extensive farm, not intensive farm, but more extensive farms in the future. It is not clear really how much this is really be done. And most of all, I see a big paradox if on the one side, and that is a declared objective of this common agriculture, you want to export more, you want to strengthen the livestock, to have it stronger. So it's a clear promotion that is wanted here in this common agriculture policy of the future, to have more international trade. Our Commissioner, Christoph Hansen, is in favor of the Mercosur trade agreement. And on the one side, you're saying, but we want more extensive farming system. So for me, there is a big paradox. It's even also a big paradox if we speak in the food sector about more international trade on the one hand, and on the other hand, wishing more food independency and more food security. Those are for me fundamental paradox that we have in this future common agricultural policy. And I couldn't agree more about what the Luxembourgish director of Greenpeace says. As long as we compare food, or that were also some other people saying it, but he was the first today, as long as we consider food really as just a commercial good and not a common good, but just to make business, we are not getting out of this, and we are continuing seeing nature, the animals, just as objects where we extract as much as possible without considering the long-term consequences that really make endanger the future of the agriculture.
Thank you, Tilly. I'll let you moderate, Talisa, sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Tilly. And I think that what you just very rightly exposed about food and about nature not being perceived as a common good, but rather as a business opportunity, pretty much also relates to what Leonardo was sharing about giving back power to the people who can recognize this nature and food as a common good, as something that is not just for profit indeed. I will open the floor back to the people in the breakout room. If you want to react maybe to what Tilly has said, or to what has been shared by Leonardo before, if you agree, if you disagree, if you have a different idea, if you think that maybe, for instance, this shift to more power to the people can actually not be a good idea in terms of developing policies and sustain of a fairer and more sustainable common agricultural policy. Again, this is an open space, so you can just, yes, please. Sorry, I don't see your name because you have Samsung written there, but so that's why I'm not addressing you by your name.
Yeah, my name is Joseph O'Connell.
Joseph.
I'm in Ireland. I find fair trade organizations, I find them very good, and their quality of their products are very good. I just wonder what affiliations you have with fair trade organizations. And it could help. Fair trade organizations seem to be very well organized, and it might help to consult them in getting definitions.
Okay. Could you repeat me your name? You're Joe, right?
Joseph O'Connell.
Okay.
Joe O'Connell.
Okay, Joe O'Connell. Okay, thank you very much. And could you just mention a couple of those organizations so we have a clue?
I just go by products that are marked with the fair trade logo.
Okay.
I don't know offhand.
But I think
I just kind of I did a perplexity search for them in Europe.
okay. I think
Okay.
definitely need to get in touch with some of those fair trade organization. And may I ask you, Joe, how did you discovered about this meeting? I mean, if you want also to introduce yourself and why you're interested in this topic.
Well, I don't agree with intensive farming. I disagree with the way animals are used, basically, as well. I'm from Ireland, and a lot of the farms in Ireland, there are some intensive farms, but a lot are small farms and subsistent farms. That's basically why I joined.
Okay, very interesting. Sorry, I was asking those questions since we reached many people from different European country, and I was wondering if this is through the documentary or through other channels.
No, I got your email. I subscribed to your email, and
Wow,
I'm here
okay.
today.
Thank you. Good to know, and we'll keep in touch. And thank you for your suggestion of fair trade organizations.
Okay.
And I will hook to this interaction because I think two things that I find interesting came out of it among the rest. The first is the conversation around fair trade and what could be also maybe the role in the CAP 2027. So maybe that could also be a point that someone wants to discuss about, apart from obviously Joe was asking about what kind of interaction we have in the context of this organization with fair trade organization, but more specifically, maybe Joe, what do you think could be the role in the CAP 2027 or in general in promoting a more sustainable agricultural policy? And also you mentioned that you're interested because much simply you do not agree with intensive farming, which is more than enough of a reason to join this assembly, and we're glad that you did. And because there's intensive farming, but there's also small farmers who are also paying the price of intensive farming. So this could also be a point. What do you think about it? Do you want to maybe share a little bit more what are your feelings just about it, and how do you think maybe little farmers can be supported in it, or what could be the role of fair trade in developing more sustainable policies for common agriculture? Just points of food for thoughts.
I'm not a farmer myself. I don't have any connection with farming, but I do see I do see that some towns in Ireland are affiliated with fair trade, and I find any of the products that I buy that are marked with the fair trade logo, I find them much better than a lot of the other products that are available. They don't seem to be intensive. They just seem to be small cooperations that supply the products. And I think if some of the smaller farmers as well were affiliated with a fair trade organization, that it would help them a lot as well. They're established, fair trade organizations are established and could help a lot, I do think.
Lorenzo, I see you unmuted yourself, so maybe Tilly wants to react.
Yes, yes, thank you very much. So for me, I don't know if I'm now on the right, if I understand well, but there are, of course, these fair trade products with the label fair trade, but those are most products that come from outside the EU, where we see fair trade bananas or fair trade coffee, and this
coffee, yeah.
Yeah, and there we see more that, but sometimes we have also fair trade nuts, or I also some products that can also be produced, not all of them, but some of them are also produced inside the EU. And if it's fair trade, for me, it guarantees that indigenous people, for example, in Latin America or Central America, that they get a fair price for their work. And so it's kind of guarantee. I think the fair trade label is really guaranteeing that people that worked on the farms there get a fair price for their work. But I know that, for example, here in Luxembourg, there was also a whole movement to have more fair milk production. And that was a little bit in the direction what Joe was saying. It was a different milk producer, dairy farms that came together in order to have the milk at a fairer price, because you must know that farmers, the milk production, what ends up there for the farmer is really nearly nothing. I mean, that is also where we lose, and that is another problem we have in our society, coming back what was said also before. We lose all connection to the food, all meaning, where it's coming from, valued. It's really for the farmer disrespectful, but also if you imagine what is all behind the whole dairy production, which is very crude production, but let's say between brackets. But nevertheless, there was this movement from the dairy farmers in Luxembourg that want fair milk to be traded. But I must say honestly, sometimes when I am buying my food, and you have there fair trade products, but they come from Latin America and they are not organic. And then you have more local produced olives or whatever.
Organic, yeah.
They are organic, but not necessarily fair trade, because you have also exploitation inside the EU. So there is not this fair trade label. So sometimes it's really questioning what is now better to buy. And I think especially food, of course, for me, it should be produced organically, locally consumed, and locally, and also produced more locally. But that is sometimes, and then on the other hand, we will never have, to be very clear, it's not that I'm against trade with countries outside of the EU, not at all. I mean, we will never have big banana plantation or coffee plantation. It just don't, so far, don't have the climate, nor the soil, etc., to do that. But voilà. So that my thoughts on the fair trade concept, but which I appreciate, of course.
Please.
I will jump in later because I see some hands.
Yeah, Leonardo.
Yes, I just to go back on the COP27. I found I heard that this year, like that many sorry for my English, that many things were reduced, like obligation that factories and investor like should apply to be more eco and green were reduced. There is less control on many things in EU for the objective that they were proposed by the COP of last year. And I mean, we should, and I also attached from what the second intervention of today was saying, like the 20% of the farmers, so mainly the bigger farmers, and from what I understood, animal farmers are getting like the 80% of the funds. And I mean, this is central, and I think this is central, and it is. And this should be the center of the COP27, because since we are like not really well understanding what is to be eco, or we are understanding this, but it's, I don't know, it's very fragile, like to speak about electric car or like as the main topics of the COP. I think that this can be a main topic. Like we should tax and not found intensive farming to sustain small producer of vegetables and other kind of fruits, because it's actually what we eat and what we need. And I'm very lucky. I live in Italy and I can go in the market, and with some struggle still I can find like organic products with no pesticide and things, because also pesticides are terrible. Because we have to remember that one of the main problem with the animal agriculture is the quantity of land that is cultivated, not with animals, but like with monoculture and things, that is like full of pesticide and full of monoculture, that is impoverishing the soil, and of course using a lot of water, like. And also like these 80 and 20 returns, I think that something is said in for profit, that is the 80% of the soil is used for as food for animal and not for us to eat. And so it's like, I think that this should be at the center of the COP27. Like we have both philosophical, ethical, and also practical reason to sustain this proposal, like tax the industrial. Of course, this is very difficult, and there is a lot of power that doesn't want it, because as we understood, is a money machine, as war is. And I am not scared about comparing war and intensive agriculture, because I don't know if it's right to me to bring this team inside, but what we are seeing in Palestine is a genocide now, we know. And this kind of suffering that is when we think, sorry, I think I'm taking too much time, when we think we can dominate the other. And I don't know, we have many reasons to put this as a main theme in COP27. There is a lot of evidence that also in terms of CO2 and water using, and I am surprised that this is not the center of COP27, COP26, of COP25, or COP24.
Yeah, but I think that you also touched upon a good point in this, meaning that you understand, like as you said, I understand also, unfortunately, why there's not a rebalancing of the priority, meaning that since instead of taxing those who incentivize intensive farming, and you said, I understand why it may not happen, but this is at the core of it, and I think it's a very important point to bring, and it brings back also to something that Joe was mentioning before, which is about the little farmers, and the importance of shedding a light again also on little farmers, and incentivizing their activities instead of focusing the economic investment on bigger farmers who contribute to intensive farming. Leonardo, yes, sorry.
No, so thank you. I want to add a small thing, yeah. Like, and this is not like we do that because we want to eat more organic. Like at the end, yes, but we do that also because we want to have a better quality of life. Yes. Like absolutely. It's like actually what I think we can enjoy a care of what we have around is nothing more than this, to care of what is around us.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit thrilled now about saying this, but I think that my life in the last years is changing so much. Is 10 years I'm vegetarian, but I'm constantly more realizing also that the more I care of my surrounding, more my quality of life and the complexity of my life too increments. Of course, like there is always a lot of suffering, but I don't know, it's something I would like to, what is intensive farming though? Like, is when we lose complexity, is when we think we can exploit rather than care for things that are around us. And I know that maybe I'm a bit like speaking like a bit generalistic way, but
no, but I think that's the way to approach it, and to be, and then you can speak in practicalities how to move forward for that. But it all circles back to the initial point, which is really at the core of the things that we've been saying so far, which is really to decentralize it from the profit side and see its actual value, and in your case also the part of the power of the people. You said my life has become worse also because of this, because I don't eat quality products. I don't have the possibility to access quality products, because also the expenses related to buying biological food and all of these things.
Maybe I was misunderstood. I think my life went better. Of course, I have like sometime maybe you have to spend more, and sometime like also I changed a lot of my relation. But what I wanted to say is that embracing this complexity and looking forward to feel better with what I have around, and like proposing this kind of care in my life, change it in a better way, like in a more like I don't know, I can enjoy better life, feeling that I'm part of an whole. Of course, now I'm a bit rhetorical, but this is actually what I truly feel. I feel better.
No, sorry, Leonardo, I didn't want to interrupt you. I thought you finished.
I'd agree. I'd agree with him 100%. I actually see vegetables now. They're coming in from Africa, and I question how they are being brought into Ireland from Africa. I think it's ridiculous that only 18% goes to crops, and there's a lot of people changing now their habits. They're going more towards the vegetarian end, and I think it's ridiculous that 80% is going to like, it's unfathomable. Like.
Yes, and when I said, Leonardo, just to clarify, and then I'll give the word to Lorenzo, sorry, is when I said life is like your habits getting worse, not in the sense of like you're not improving your life and you're being part of a positive change, but rather the fact that, as Joe mentioned, the quality of the food that is brought up to supermarkets, our tables, because of the distribution of funds and how big farms are not taxed, it's a different quality of food. So of course, as you said, you're Italian, I'm Italian too, so I know what you're talking about. But we have different we have access to different resources, but it is not the case for everyone. And Lorenzo, please.
Yes. Since I would like just to remind that we have more or less 10 minutes, 10 minutes to come back in the plenary. So there will be our note takers summarizing what have been said. I thank a lot Celine for note taking in this group in particular. I was thinking about something when we were talking before about fair prices and fair trade. Speaking about fair taxation, for instance, I know the case of Italy regarding the taxation for the milk derivative by animals and vegetable derived milk, of course, you pay 5 times what you pay for animal based milk. Because the taxation is it's crazy. It's 5 times more than the one for normal milk. So I know that the European Union has no competence in taxation, unfortunately, from my point of view. But I'm wondering if there is anything in terms of standard that could help the situation, because otherwise, for us that we would like to prefer vegetable products, the risk is always to be an elite things.
If I can react to that, I mean, I'm very happy you mentioning that, because that's exactly one of my fight, or the fight of, I say, of progressive politicians. I mean, healthy food that is not full of pesticide, that did not destroy the water, etc. Because externalities have, of course, also a lot of have a price. And for me, the common agriculture policy with 300 billion could be a top instrument to orientate agriculture, to allow that it's not only the bobos or the elite that can allow to have pesticide-free food, or because indeed, for the moment, it's like that. For the moment, if you buy organic, it's more expensive, but should be the other way around. And we should look at the real price of a conventional product. If you look that you have to restore the soil, clean up the water pollution that is generated by intensive farming, by it be animals, but also a conventional salad that comes from south of Spain now to Luxembourg, which was where there were pesticides, insecticides that kill the soil. So we should look at the real cost. Then the conventional salad is not cheaper for the taxpayer than the organic one. But for now, we have a common agriculture policy that is stuck in the logic of after the war, the Second World War. We have to produce a lot to a very low price to the people. And this a lot quantity goes at the sake of quality. And now 1/3 of what we produce of the food is thrown away. So we must come now with another logic in the agriculture, but we are far from it. And if I just may say something to Leonardo, and I really appreciate also what you were saying, Joe and Leonardo, it was going into the same direction. And you mentioned shortly, without opening this box now, Gaza, etc. Because sometimes people are asking me, yeah, you're defending animals, etc. But in times what we have of wars on the European continent, but for me it's all the
same thing.
It is a fight.
Same thing.
Of power. We are really treating the environment, minorities, etc. It's all about abuse of power. So for me, it's the same fight, and we should speak much more about an economy of well-being, because the economy is not an objective as such. It is there in exactly what you have been saying, that people have, and all the people, not just an elite, have more quality of life. But voila, that's not where we are. And we need people like all of you.
Can I add something briefly? Like there is, like they say that, like in the patriarchate, like what happened is like male put like on female passivity to control her, and as like meat producers are putting like elite to who is eating vegetables, and this is like propaganda made into reality. As I know that it sounds strange to paragonate all these things, like, but I think like men did to women, and like now Israel is doing on Palestinians, and how many other forms of dominating the other. Is all about feeling weak and putting on the other, like I mean, what we fear, what we what we feel also as bad things instead of embracing it.
Yeah. I had even once, because for older generations, just to make the link with what you have been saying also for machism, or in older days, it was really like real men needed to eat meat. So it was really you can only be strong if you eat meat, and a real man, when you, so it's really used also, it was a long time used, this image of machismo and meat eater. But the strongest man in Luxembourg is vegan, just to say, and more than he's pushing trains and things like that. So but more and more we get away from that. But that was also a manipulation that was there, that if you are not eating meat, you cannot be strong, which is proven completely.
Yeah. We need to reverse the narrative.
Yeah, we need to push the narrative how it actually is no, like, because eating vegetable is more sustainable and cheaper. Should be that like this.
Talisa, tell us according.
Yeah, I think if you also agree that it's time to wrap up so that we can go back to the plenary, at least this is what the other facilitators and note takers are mentioning as well. So thank you all. I think also I would like to specifically say thank you also to Tilly for being part of this breakout room. I think your contribution was definitely pivotal for the conversation, and it was a great opportunity for everyone also to address it directly with you. So I thank you for that. Lorenzo, do you agree with going back? I think the other groups are done.
Okay, I was just wondering if Celine taking notes. So do you feel comfortable to summarize a bit? Thank you very much, Celine. Okay. Okay.
Perfect. So we can go back to the plenary. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.